Who's coming with me?
Well, I'm in.
2021's Spider-Man No Way Home is a tough act to follow. Tom Holland's third outing as Spider-Man not only had timeline-changing consequences for the MCU, but it also handled nostalgic fan service, bringing back classic villains like Green Goblin and Doc Ock, and even past Spider-Man actors like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. But with Holland's Peter Parker swinging into a new costume by the end, there are high expectations of what the fourth Spider-Man movie would look like. Today at ScreenRant, we look at all the theories and production details that we know about MCU's Spider-Man 4. A major highlight of the ending of Spider-Man No Way Home was the memory wipe caused by Doctor Strange's spell. As the only way to save the multiverse is to erase Spider-Man's memory from everyone's heads.
Just make everyone forget.
Peter's best friends Ned and MJ also end up forgetting his existence. Now that he's all alone, Peter might make some new friends in the fourth film. Ned and MJ might remember Peter and his superhero alter ego later due to a probable break in the multiverse. But for now, Peter is alone and ready for a new chapter in life. This is the perfect opportunity to introduce him to Harry Osborn, who's usually depicted as Peter's best friend in comics and movies. Harry's introduction to the MCU can also eventually lead to his father, Norman Osborn's MCU debut. Both Norman and Harry have been Green Goblin throughout the comics and movies. And with Peter facing off against a villain that's either his best friend or his best friend's father, Spider-Man 4 can pose interesting personal challenges for our web-slinging hero. While Miles Morales made his comic book debut in 2011, the new Spider-Man has become very popular with his own video game and with a trilogy of animated Spider-Verse movies. As Peter takes time away from MJ and Ned in the next Spider-Man film, Miles Morales can also be introduced as a potential ally. Be it in the comics or the video games, there are multiple instances where Miles has fought crime alongside Peter. The only difference is that while Peter has often served as Miles' mentor, Tom Holland's Peter in the MCU isn't that old to begin with. So, gathering Peter and Miles as fellow web-slingers can be an interesting creative choice. Peter can get a trustworthy accomplice, and the MCU can get another fan-favorite Spider-Man. A complaint among most Spider-Man fans with the MCU was that the franchise had forgotten the character's New York roots. Yes, Peter was mentored by Iron Man, wore the Iron Spider suit, and even saved the multiverse with Doctor Strange. But all of these high-profile heroics took the focus away from Spider-Man's status as a street-level superhero in New York. As Spider-Man 4 marks a new chapter in the character's MCU arc, we might finally see him fighting crime on the streets and saving the people of New York from criminals like Kingpin and Hammerhead. So far, Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin has posed as a major threat to Daredevil and Echo. But now that he plans on becoming the mayor of New York, he's bound to face opposition from the city's other street-level vigilantes like Daredevil, aka the lawyer Matt Murdock. As Matt already crossed paths with Peter in Spider-Man No Way Home, it's possible that Daredevil and Spider-Man will team up sometime in the future.
How did you just do that?
I'm a really good lawyer.
Taking down a powerful threat like Kingpin with a hero like Daredevil will be an interesting mission for Spider-Man. In such ways, Spider-Man 4 can make the friendly neighborhood storylines more grounded and realistic. Instead of any Stark Tech armor or Doctor Strange spell, Peter will have to depend on his own wits and survival skills this time around. One of the post-credits scenes of Spider-Man No Way Home teased that a part of Eddie Brock's symbiote from the Venom movies has entered Earth 616, the main dimension of the MCU. With the parasitic symbiote on the loose, Spider-Man 4 might also tease a Venom connection. This implies that Peter's Spider-Man suit can get infected with the symbiote, expanding upon the storyline that Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3 tried exploring.
Eddie, the suit! You gotta take it off!
Oh, you'd like that, wouldn't you?
Another alternative is to introduce the MCU's version of Eddie Brock and turn him into a potential villain like Venom. But given that the MCU has already introduced Flash Thompson, the Venom symbiote can even take over him and turn him into the Marvel Comics anti-hero, Anti-Venom. With veteran Avengers like Iron Man and Captain America having left the team, a new era of the super team begins. Younger heroes like Ms. Marvel and Kate Bishop have already started teaming up, making the creation of Young Avengers imminent. Spider-Man can be an interesting addition to this team, as he has already faced multiversal threats on his own and with the Avengers. Peter is way more experienced than the next batch of MCU heroes. His advice and strategic help can make him an unexpected mentor figure to the new team. These Young Avengers connections can be teased in Spider-Man 4 with some possible cameos of these new age heroes. Spider-Man 4 is expected to start filming in early 2025 with a potential release date in either 2026 or 2027. Meanwhile, the MCU's upcoming release calendar suggests that Avengers Doomsday will be released in April 2026. MCU's other 2026 projects are expected to be released in February and November, but Spider-Man 4 will not be released in either month. But considering the first two MCU Spider-Man movies released in July, it's also possible that the next one also gets a summer release date. If indeed Spider-Man 4 releases after Doomsday, then it can be an interesting middle chapter between Doomsday and Secret Wars. Going back to the comics, Marvel fan Reddit user 612 suggested that Robert Downey Jr.'s Doomsday could create Battleworld at the end of Doomsday. Battleworld is a dimension from the comics that puts several Marvel characters and universes into one planet. If this happens, then New York in Spider-Man 4 will be inside Battleworld, a world with endless possibilities and multiversal dangers. If this theory indeed comes true, then Spider-Man 4 can serve as both a street-level New York story and a multiversal adventure like No Way Home. With Aunt May and Tony Stark gone, Peter has no parent figure left in his life. The last we saw of him in No Way Home, he shifted to a cramped room in New York City. As he lives on his own now, Spider-Man 4 can find him balancing college with a side job. And if the film sticks to comics canon, we will finally get to see Peter become a photojournalist for the Daily Bugle. His high school classmate Betty Brant has already started interning at the Bugle's social media division. Peter might as well join her for some extra bucks. While not much is known about the upcoming Spider-Man project, The Hollywood Reporter revealed that Destin Daniel Cretton was being roped in as director in September 2024. Cretton started his career with independent features like Short Term 12, but MCU fans will remember him for helming the 2021 hit Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Joining Cretton in the writing department are Chris McKenna and Eric Summers. Both screenwriters are reputed among Spider-Man fans as they have written all three MCU Spider-Man movies so far. As for the cast, Tom Holland will obviously return, as Spider-Man with Zendaya also reported to reprise her role as MJ. Sony Pictures chairman Tom Rothman told Deadline that he wished the whole group to return to the fourth film, implying that Jacob Ballatin's Ned might also eventually return. It will be interesting to see how MJ and Ned become friends with Peter now that they have no recollection of him. While Spider-Man 4 has no title for now, there is a high chance it won't have the word home this time. The three MCU Spider-Man movies so far were envisioned as a trilogy, but now that the home trilogy is over, Spider-Man 4 is likely to start another Spider-Man trilogy in the MCU. Sony Pictures' Tom Rothman confirmed that Marvel might lend Sony yet another character this time. While referring to Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange in No Way Home, Rothman told Phase Zero podcast, "We lend one, then they lend one, and that's how Benedict is in this movie, so we have one more lend back that is committed." If Spider-Man 4 has a street-level spin to it, then there are high chances this other character turns out to be Daredevil. So, with potential crossovers, multiversal connections, and some street-level rebranding, Spider-Man 4 carries a lot of promise. Straying away from the home trilogy, the fourth film can mark a new era in Peter Parker's hero arc. And if it does have any connections with Doomsday or Secret Wars, then Spider-Man 4 can be an ambitious reset for the MCU, balancing the hero's New York City adventures with larger consequences on the Marvel timeline.